Greetings, land of YouTube. If I had to give advice right now, if you should be buying or selling Bitcoin, I would have to go with no. Personally, I would just wait. Now, I'm no super professional or anything. I'm just a dude on YouTube. And personally, if I wasn't in a position right now, I wouldn't try to get into one until this plays out. Real quick, I want to say for the people that have been watching my videos, I don't know if I'm bearish enough. I've been talking about this coming down and kind of coming down here to a true accumulation, then maybe going back up. I've been talking about this Wyckoff cycle, distribution cycle here. And generally, well, I haven't been able to ever find a cycle chart that says it goes up from here. We're right here right now. What I've been saying is a Wyckoff cycle would tend to break down here. And I've been saying, you know, the bottom is probably 1620. And I don't know if I'm bearish enough, because technically, here's that right there is the last 12 months of Bitcoin, and here's where I say an accumulation's at. Technically, you could probably jump down to here. For that matter, you could say since the last bull run is accumulation. Well, I guess that's kind of a peak there, but you could probably go ahead and say since late 2019 has all been accumulation, right? So if that's the case, and if this is a full market cycle playing out, maybe this is a redistribution pattern, like I've been saying. Lots of people are saying this is accumulation. It's going to do this. It could. I don't think so. I think this has been a redistribution pattern since day one. Right here, there's a spring. This is where it looks like an accumulation pattern that's going to break out. I'll get to that in a second. But, you know, if this turns out to be a redistribution, it could drop down here, and we might have the same situation 30 days from now at a lower price. People saying this is an accumulation that's going to go up, and that's what I've been saying. Wyckoff distribution is a cycle pattern discovered more than 100 years ago by Richard Wyckoff. And it tries to teach the public how the big players play these cycles. They slowly suck all the money out of the public into their hands, and eventually they'll put it back in. He teaches that the individual out there right now, you should play this like a game, and you're up against a single opponent. And he calls that opponent the Composite Man. So we'll call it the Composite Man. What if the Composite Man, and the Composite Man is all the institutions and big players, they all have a habit of doing this the right way, right? And the public doesn't understand what's going on. So what if the Composite Man was accumulating all through here? I've been talking about this area, right? But Composite Man, now that I start thinking about it, is probably liable to have been accumulating all through here, and probably heavily. Here's the COVID-19 dump. Probably heavy accumulation all through here. So with that being said, if this is a market that plays fully out, the Composite Man might have something, not just a little more pain. The Composite Man might have a lot more pain, right? So maybe this is the cycle of 2021. Maybe I'm not bearish enough, right? So keep that in mind. It's just speculation at this point. It's just no one's going to know for sure until it totally plays out. Since my last video, the recent development is see this accumulation pattern I put up here. This is a spring. If you follow on the top chart right above there, it comes up here and puts in a high. This is after the spring, and it puts in a higher low, and then it puts in a higher high, and that's where we're at right now, right here, right? So what you want to be watching for now is where this next low is at. If it's a lower, or if it's a higher low than the previous low, then it's going to be looking like a accumulation that's going to break out. The accumulations, if you look at the chart above, it says puts in higher highs and higher lows until it has a breakout. So that's what you want to watch for now. But the problem is see this redistribution pattern now. This is basically fitting this redistribution schematic almost perfectly. First peak's a little higher than the second peak. Comes back down to support. Third peak is higher than the first two, comes down to support. So up until this point, it's not only looking at it from here and saying redistribution, right? It's a downtrend, and so it's been a spitting image of this redistribution pattern, and until here, there was a big spring, and now it's looking like an accumulation pattern. So I think the Composite Man is having some fun with you, right? Because when I saw this peak here go up to 36,600, I started having my doubts, right? I've been saying this is redistribution for a month. And so on the redistribution, this peak, the second peak here, shouldn't have went up that high. So, is it the Composite Man playing games? Is it saying, look at redistribution, redistribution. And now there's a bunch of shorts, and the Composite Man is going to take out the shorts, or is the Composite Man, no, this is a redistribution that's going to dump, but decide to put in this fakie here, right, to get some more people to buy, right? Oh, look, it's a spring, it's accumulation spring, it's going to be a massive gainer, right? It's going to do this. So that's why this game's difficult, because the Composite Man is a opponent that has you outwitted, has more data than you. The Composite Man can see exactly where everyone's long and short positions are at, the ones that are trading this on leverage. They can see every single one of those. They know where the pain points are at. So I've been kicking it around. Maybe it's just neutral for a while. Maybe it signals redistribution, then it signals accumulation, and then redistribution, and then we're 30 days out from now, and we're still in this range, right? The thing about the Composite Man is he can see where the short positions are at. So he has the ability to drive it up and liquidate those shorts, right? And then maybe if there's a bunch of long, over-leveraged long positions in, he's got the power to liquidate all those longs. So in through here, it's just kind of like a leaf, like a tree shredder, right? You ever seen a tree shredder? You just throw the branches in there. This is what might be happening to the retail people that try to use leverage trading right now. So my only advice would be to just sit this one out, sit on your hands, sit on the sideline, and wait for this to get out of here. All these Wyckoff distribution schematics clearly show it's a full cycle that plays out. I don't see what the Composite Man would gain from pumping it up here. Why would the Composite Man want to pump it up to $60,000? For what reason would the Composite Man want to do that? Unless, of course, it was going to be another distribution. But we're already there, right? I mean, been kicking this around. What if it's more painful and worse than even I've been talking about? So it's kind of mixed signals, right? So I'm not a real talented, experienced, technical, short frame technical analyst. There are 3 channels out there if you're interested in watching how a real day trader would play. So like a real day trader could be working in here in these nooks and crannies with the because they're tied into the technical data, real time. So they can play these, right? They can long here and short here and long here and short here. But most people out there just, that's something that you have to learn over the course of a year or two. It's almost something where you need a mentor to teach you, right? That's one thing I see in common with a lot of these traders that I think are real on YouTube is a lot of them talk about having a mentor that taught them the skill, right? So there's very, very few people out there that should be day trading. There are 3 channels on YouTube I've discovered. I'll link them down in the description. It's Bitcoin Beats, it's Crypto Face, and Jason Casper. All 3 of these guys, they're not the kind of channels that try to get you to, sign up here and do this so they can get referral bonuses. And these three guys, I don't know them, so if they say stuff, that's not my responsibility. But I'm just recommending them just for this specific. If you're interested in how a day trader operates, those 3 channels, they're tied in with their little programs like Market Cipher and the WAD machine. If you go there, you'll see how they're doing it. And if you are interested in being a trader, those three guys are the type of people you'd want to emulate, right? I don't know of anyone else on YouTube I'd even recommend. I wouldn't recommend day trading. The reason they say 95% of day traders lose their money is because 95% of the people that day trade aren't day traders, right? They're just people that try to day trade. A person trying to day trade is not a day trader. That's someone that loses their money. A real day trader is actually pretty good. So as far as the general public, at this point right now, just my honest opinion, I'd say this started as redistribution. It's going to end as redistribution. I think the Composite Man's playing games. But the Composite Man will go where there's money. If the Composite Man can wipe out shorts, that's probably what he'll do. If he can wipe out longs, that's probably what he'll do. I just don't imagine there being enough buying pressure to drive this up here. I think the Composite Man would have to get involved in that. And I don't know why the Composite Man would buy now. If the Composite Man was the one doing all this accumulating back here, right, then he would want to sell and get to the point where he can get back down here. And this is where he'll buy in again, right? Setting up for the next one. So that's what the Composite Man does. Buys low, sells high, still sells high, and then finally get down here and accumulate back in. So the Composite Man can then, once again, go up here, sell high, drive it down, and then accumulate again. That's generally how these cycles will work. So you might hear other YouTubers talking about on-chain metrics and institutions buying, and the blockchain metrics, and look at this wallet and look at that wallet. That's all separate from this. This has nothing to do. This, what you see right here, has absolutely nothing to do with on-chain metrics and the blockchain. This is a money market, totally independent of any of that stuff they say, right? This is a money market. It's just like the stock market. I mean, except for obviously it's Bitcoin by itself, but it's a money market, right? It's driven by supply and demand. And the Composite Man can absolutely drive this price down if he chooses to, right? So the supply-demand crunch that Bitcoin is supposed to encounter at some point, the supply crisis, that's a long ways away, man. That's up here. That's way up here somewhere, right? We're nowhere near a supply situation that would make this not the same supply-demand economics as any other stock, as a stock market, right? There's enough supply out there now to where these supply and demand dynamics that make up these money markets, this is exactly the same as any stock market at this point, right? There's plenty of supply out there. So I know a lot of people are under the impression that Bitcoin is somehow different in that regards, but it's not. The reason I would just sit out is because the Composite Man has the ability to liquidate shorts, liquidate longs, liquidate shorts, liquidate longs, liquidate shorts, liquidate longs, liquidate, dump in your face. So you're up against a superior opponent, right? Neutral, just neutral. If you want to Google those two schematics and keep an eye on them, right? You want to keep an eye on this guy, not getting carried away and turn it into a true accumulation pump, right, off a spring. And you want to see if it comes down and tests support again here. That kind of invalidates that accumulation. But I kind of got the feeling now that we might just be dealing with a prolonged mixed signals. I think it's intentional. The Composite Man's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, so just be careful out there, folks. I hope you enjoyed this show. As always, thanks for watching.